And we're back. Okay, so we're up to step 4. So now at this point, I started in the center out. I did my initial wash. I left it with leaf stamps. And then I did my second wash, and I left these next 3. And now I'm going to work my way around. At this point, I also want to bring some stuff, going back to the reference that my first painting is, I'm going to want to do some stuff that's coming from the outsides. So on this layer, I want to make sure that I start to bring some leaves in from the border as I go around. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more in here as my basic cluster working from the beginning out, but I also want to come back and make some edges. So just to let you know where I'm headed here, got a bunch of different size leaves. I can use any one of them for my different shapes and stuff like that. I've even got some large ones over here. Let's see. Very large. But I'm not sure how much sense that would make with this canvas like this. You got to kind of scale it. It's hard to find small leaves. I'm not quite at fall yet, in case anyone hasn't noticed. So the problem with bringing leaves in when it's not fall is they're alive, and then they turn into mushy mush like this after just a little bit of time. So can't very well paint with that. That was my locust, just to show. Hey, another thing I did is I pulled a raspberry out, because that's an interesting shape too. So everything's possible. These are kind of fuzzy, though. I don't know how it would last as a template. I like that. I like maple leaves. Oak leaves would work also if you can find some small ones, or choose a bigger canvas, depending on what you want to do. Anyhow, let me continue here. Okay, so I've got some yellow in a tray, and I want to go ahead and make a mid-tone green now. So I'm going to pull, excuse me, got some clean water. I'm going to fill a well up here. Let me push this into the shot a little bit more, so you can see. I'll put a goodly amount of water in there first, and I always start with yellow when I'm making greens. It's certainly hard to start with blue and come back. Always start with your light colors. Take a little bit of yellow here, where I had some cadmium yellow in the other well. All right, and now for my mid-tone green, I'm going to use French ultramarine instead of Prussian blue. Take my well-used tube of French ultramarine. I'm going to put a little dab of it in my empty well here, just so I can come off some of it. I don't like to add giant pieces, excuse me, from the tubes into the color mix, because I mean, you never know how much you're getting. So again, I'm going to take a little bit off the tip of my brush here, and this is going to be a darker green because we're shooting for mid-tones here. So that's my formula basically. All my light greens are cad yellow plus Prussian blue, and my mid-tones, I hope you can see this from the thing. There's not a lot of light under where this is, but I think you get the idea. The mid-tones are French ultramarine and cadmium yellow. Gets me the next layer. And then my dark greens, I will add burnt umber to this in step 5, probably step 5, 6. You keep, depending on how many layers you want to do. I mean, you know, it's up to you. I do need to point this out. As we go down in layers, we need to make sure that we paint the next darker layer in the middle of these layers also, right? So I'm going to have to come back in here with this mid-tone green, because as we look down on this when it's finished, we want the darkest green to show through all the way. So every time I do a new layer, if there's no leaves specifically there, right? If this layer of leaves, this is this, it must be this layer of leaves, which is going to be seen as the bottom layer of leaves. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and start with this. Again, working from the middle out, I'm going to put a couple of leaf shapes in there. I'll start like maybe like that. Why not? And you'll see what I'm talking about as I go, hopefully. I might go down a brush, actually, as we get a little bit more intricate in here. And I'll save this brush because I may need to use this to take it out. My rule of thumb is always use the biggest brush possible. Everybody's got their own things. When I started this, I used a number 20, and I really could have used one of the Hake brushes, like a Hakey brushes, one of the 2.5-inch Hakey probably would have worked for a more even layer. Live and learn. All right, so now I'm going through here. And you know what? I'm going to grab my glasses. because these eyes need glasses. There we go. I'm going to try to be careful. And I'm coming right around here. I'm coming right around here. And then off this leaf. Right? So we leave this nice layer of spring green under this mid-tone here. Coming off this leaf still. I'm going to go ahead. I'll go ahead and take this up to the top. And again, we're not worried that much about how even this is because it's going to become texture. So this is really fun because you don't have to worry too much. Okay, now look at where it is. See where you need to still paint. Okay, it comes off the back here. And then when you can, it's on the bottom also, right here. Make sure that these areas in here, I'm going to take the leaf off. Make sure these areas in here get filled in because you want the depth. Whatever's underneath has to appear underneath, right? There's a hole in this leaf, so you can put some there, right? So just working out from here carefully. Just enough to get me out of the mess, out of the cluster of other leaves, carefully. Okay, and now, again, considering where I am, I might want, let's put another leaf in here. Put one like that. Like that. Use your imagination. It's a random pile of leaves, right? They can go anywhere. Do anything. All right, here we go. Trying to continue in a fairly rapid fashion here. It's fun to try to do it with a video too. It adds a great challenging dimension. I'm going to go on the stem here. Leave me some stem. I was going to lift stems, but where you can leave them, it's fun too. Okay, so now I've got this. I'm going to pull it. Getting interesting, right? Okay, so here I'm going to go around here with the details. I use my my palette to clear off my brush and keep my consistency. Some people like to use paper towels just to show you I've got one waiting in the wings. I'm not using my tabletop, my tablecloth. Okay, so we're coming off here. And again, I don't want to go too crazy here as far as how much green I want to spread to the border because I want to look at this and see if I don't want to stick another leaf in here too. But I definitely think as we're finishing this lower quadrant here, let's go ahead and bring in another leaf peeking in from the side to keep it interesting. So I'm going to come off this leaf same way. I'm rotating it around, my body around here too, so I don't have to rotate the canvas. If I was doing this without the camera, I might be rotating the canvas a little bit more. But again, so see what I'm doing here? I'm just leaving that shape. And now I'm going to come in between here and finish this. Take it to the edge and back. Okay. Through here. Down here. Yeah, let's go ahead and finish this down here and we'll think about something else. Peering through down here further. For right now, let's take this to the stem. You could tell there was not a lot of prior planning. That's kind of a fun part of this also. Okay, let's work our way counterclockwise here a little bit. How about if we just put this little cutie here? Actually, don't I have a smaller one? Yeah. Okay. Let's put this one here. Just having nothing to do with anything, but a full leaf, why not? If you can get it in. Just go from the center out so you don't accidentally go inside it. You'll see it's not hard. Okay, I'm going to pull it. Look at that. Instant leaf. Anti-leaf. Okay. Remembering we need to cover all the area of this green with this new green so we can have our effect. And if I take my own advice, I won't go back over the top. Just let it dry. Okay, so some of these lines where I overlap, you can call those tide lines. You can use them to your benefit, or you can just leave them there as texture. I'll show you what I mean as far as using them to your benefit a little bit later. Okay, I'm going to make a leaf come peering in through the top here because it needs to. It's calling me. I need to come from the top. Let's fill in the blanks. Now, you could paint these without the leaf template. That's doable. But you have to have these shapes in mind underneath before you do it. And with practice, and certainly doing less complex shapes like circles, or I will paint trees negatively without any template or anything. I'll just keep painting other sets of trees underneath it, but you have to leave the trees underneath, and you have to be in a mode kind of to see what you're leaving. All right. So this is the layer underneath that I'm leaving in leaves right now, right? You're getting that, hopefully. Let's have something peering out of here. I'm not going too far as I go out of it because I want to make sure if I want to put another leaf near it, I don't want to spread this down into here if I want another leaf there, right? If I want to pick up that undercolor, just want to be careful. A little bit. Pull this up. See that effect? It's nice, right? I'm going to go ahead and put a leaf here. Maybe. Too much? No, let's go ahead. Let's make it so it's sticking off, though. Imperfect is always better because nothing is perfect. That would be absolutely no fun. Okay. I forgot how much fun this is. I got to do a few of these. And, you know, as it becomes fall and the leaves turn colors, they provide inspiration for the kind of colors you might use. I found one outside, and I'll bring it in for my later steps when I colored these, the top ones. I want to show you I found something kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to come back in here. Focus, Ross, focus. I have to try to remember, cover all the area that you don't want to show as the bottom layer. We're going to definitely do another dark layer, so I'm not too worried about covering everything here. I still want to leave some sparse areas because I want some other leaves to peer in. I want to have some room for another layer. If I cover everything, well, then that would be the end, wouldn't it? You know you're done when you're done. Is it too cliche to have one sticking up in the corner? Let's stick one like... Now let's go small, because if we want some other ones, we're going to have to put small ones so other ones can be around it. Let's go one more small one here. The coolest thing about these are you could paint them all day long if you wanted to, and they would all be different because your orientations are going to be different. Just shut up for a second and paint around here. As I start to collide with other shapes, I want to make sure I don't go inside them. I need to concentrate. I need to concentrate a little bit. All right, whoops. Get a clear stem. Clear stemmy. Good. Is good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to just fill in now because I think I have all of this layer that I want to show through on the bottom. I'm going to just fill in. I'm not going to worry too much about tide lines or overlapping. Just going to the edge and making sure that I... Why do tide lines form? Because I let this layer dry a little bit before I put the next one, and there's no way on earth that my dip could be exactly consistent and drying at the same rate. If I don't overlap too much, I might end up with something that matches very well. If I overlap too much a little bit, I would end up with a tide line in there, which again, it doesn't matter really in this, but this just for your future painting, in the I wonder why things happen category. Look at it, look at it. Make sure you're not stepping on other things. There's this. This is not a leaf. This is part of the bottom layer. Okay. Okay. I'm going to tidy up around this leaf a little. I'm going to drop down a brush size so I can get some edges. Clean this brush. I leave it on a paper towel. I'm going to come in with this is a fat number 4 rigger. That's R-I-G-G-E-R, named so because they were used originally to do rigging on boats. Because I can draw incredibly good straight lines with these. But it also is great for filling in detail. Trying to match tones somewhat. Look around here, see if I missed anything really. No, I think I got what I want. And I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll go to the next tone. It's starting to look like a leaf collage. We'll go very dark next time. And then we're going to come back and we're going to put some details in and some shadows and stuff like that. And we should be good. I will, whoops, straighten this out. See you in about half an hour when this dries. Probably will dry faster, but it'll take me that long.